Breakdown. Oh, okay. Hi everybody, my name is Jessica Holyfield. I'm a professional dancer, professional dance choreographer, and dance educator based out of the southeast of the United States. And we're going to be taking a look at NCT 127's Fact Check Dance Practice. So they do have a performance version out as well as the music video, but my past experience has led me to feel that the dance practices are going to be the most effective at analyzing the choreography versus the camera work really helping guide where you want me to look. So I'm taking a look at I'm assuming this is a fixed point, possibly of the routine. I'm excited to look at it. Let's go ahead and get into it. Okay. I've heard this song, and I think this is what motivated me to want to check this routine out. The song sounds really fun. That was cool. A little We're seeing that butterfly move a ton in K-pop choreo. Okay, that was an interesting add-on they chose to do there. That's an interesting breakdown of this track. I'm gonna be honest, I don't think this is a one take. I see some subtle masking that's happening here. Breakdown. Oh, okay. I like this choreo a lot. Okay, so taking a run back here, I do know with the dance practice, you end up seeing more mistakes, but remember, the caliber of dance practices has now reached the point where, what's the word? Their viewage of them are almost just as much as the performance versions and the music videos. So we can't discredit the fact that this is part of the reflection of the group. I also forgot to mention this is the very first time I'm reacting to NCT 127 or NCT in general. I've never done an analysis of them before. I have heard their music and I have watched, and I've used their music funnily enough, but with their music, like their dancing, I haven't actually analyzed it. So this is going to be really fun for me. Initial thoughts, I like it. It feels mad familiar. Like the choreography, I feel like, I don't know. certain things that they're doing remind me of Jam Republic from season 2 Street Woman Fighter. It does. Like this movement right here, the butterfly movement. So Jam has a heavy Afro background. Some of the members do. So for me, and I know that they've been in Korea for a hot minute now, filming the show, and I know they have breaks and they're able to do stuff. They've done stuff with Jungkook, the whole shebang, everything, and they've done stuff at HYBE. I know with NCT they're with SM, right? I think, yeah. I feel that, you know, this just gives off that type of energy, but I know a lot of these movement patterns that we see are very viral right now in general, just globally. So having other choreographers kind of enmesh that in their stuff, that totally, like, it wouldn't shock me if it was somebody else. But that's just what it reads to me based on my saturation of what I've been analyzing up until this point. Just this whole beginning here, if we just take a look, I like where they go da-da, where they start kind of in the middle of the phrase versus just at the beginning or at the end. Having one person in the middle. That was nice to have the framing on the outside, my guy in front, influencing that for them to transition over, creating a different formation. Now we need to talk through the grooves. Half of them are choosing to go about the groove in a very different way than how they're choosing to do it. Their focus it does feel to be, one of them's more hip focused, one is more upper body focused. We're going to look and see which one's doing that. So they're going outside to inside. The accent, a lot of them are choosing to go more with the sway of the upper body, and others are choosing to rock forward. And that's what causes those two sides to look subtly different. And then when you have these guys here, that's probably what makes me think, I'm wondering if one of them should have taken their arm and done the opposite arm, even though they're all on the same leg. Because when you see mirroring take place on the outside and on the inside, they're not mirrored, it's just different than what I'm used to seeing. Normally there's symmetry in the mirroring 100% of the way, not just halfway and then the others are choosing to go on unison when you could easily mirror it. So just more of an observation, not a critique. But looking through here, I like the build up, da 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 da, and then bringing everybody back in. Yeah, so going through here, noticing that, yeah, da da da, matching the tone of my feature. I'm assuming my feature's in the front, because remember with K-pop, we all know, especially those of you who are watching and who are fans of this group, you guys know, probably based on their tone, who's singing at this moment. And so for me, I have no clue. So it's going to be fun for me to kind of piece together who is our feature in this moment. And the reason why he made that choice to get low and everybody else built it up is so you can still keep him as a focus there. So that was a great choice from him. Transition was really nice. Okay, so I can tell based on him opening his mouth, he is my feature here. He's also touching his chest, looking and referencing. So I'm using those context clues. If he didn't do those things and he just did the choreography, I wouldn't know who is the feature, which is probably why he made those choices. So that would just be a note to the choreographer or whoever is managing the cleanliness of the routine, possibly in some way making him stick out a tad bit more than just how we saw it there, because anybody who didn't catch that he was lip syncing or singing it, you wouldn't have caught that he was the one that, you know, is the feature there. Because remember, I'm coming at it from not a fan, because I've never watched them before, you know, so I can't be a fan if I've never watched them before. The transition there, now we see he didn't really do anything there, but everybody else did their transition with their finger waves. So that was a nice choice, different dynamic shift. The branching out, so this is what I'm talking about. You have a single person that's central, facing more forward. Everybody else is framing to the outside. But notice they are operating 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. When you have 8 members in a part of a group, and I know NCT has like 15,000 subgroups is what I've heard. When you operate any group that has an even number, it is more difficult to feature individuals because it then creates a non-symmetrical formation. Unless you have one person directly behind another person, then you can have your symmetry on both sides, but it is really difficult to do that when you're doing a bunch of mirroring. So, but it does work when you don't have features. It does create a really nice symmetrical formation. So that's probably why it feels more full over here. But I really like the choice that was made choreographically of having our next guy come up. Then it creates a more symmetrical formation. And so I really like that, what happened here. This was cool when that breakdown, doom, 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 using the chug of the foot. It breaks up. Normally when people do a slide of some nature, it's more like a glide. So when they chop it up, it feels broken up, which matches that beat in the back very well. I like this. I'm going to go ahead and say this. I've noticed him a couple times. I don't think he's one of your main dancers, right? I'm going to go ahead and call that. The reason why I can tell is because of his torso usage is not nearly as fluent or enmeshed in the style of the track. Like I would say there was another guy, he was already featured. Is his name Mark? Maybe? I don't know. Also, another person I'm catching that may not be main dancer is my guy over here. You can tell because of the opposition of the shoulders to the elbows. Whenever you have them super engaged, a lot of them are kind of not fully utilizing the range of the transition between them. I wouldn't call it a Harlem Shake. It's not quite that. But going and utilizing the body to drop down with hinges to transition over, you're really seeing that from our front people, but those in the back, you can tell that that's not quite what's happening as much. Yeah, I will say it's my guy right here. I would say out of everybody, he has the most natural looking appearing pocket for this type of track. And I know they explore different concepts, so it could be just the concept works with how he was trained, but some of them, they do look a bit on the stiffer side in not utilizing this type of groove, especially if you're gonna do Afro nuance and Afro influenced viral moves. You have to have something there that really kind of enhances that double bounce or really helps you get into it a little bit more than just doing the move. You know what I mean? I think like with the track it is. The only reason why I say that is because of the track. If it was a different track, different story. So going through here, and also with there, check that. That's a butterfly Afro. We've seen that a ton, a lot of times. We've seen variations from people from Hybe. I've seen it in just a ton of content recently. I would say my guy right here also appears to be not quite main dancer either. And no, it's not because of their placement in the formation. I know sometimes they're put there for that reason. It is because of how they're carrying their body in the pocket that they're supposed to be doing. Yeah, so like all of this movement is really tricky to do well, but also sing. It's very polyrhythmic, and I think that's what makes this very impressive. So with this type of genre, you know, the BPM of this is quite high. But when you think about all of the intricacies, they have to compensate for the fact that because they're singing, you can't really overly use a legato groove in the chest. So that I can factor that into what I've already said. But whenever you see here of how they're going about their transitions or they're going about the choreography, some of them are choosing to really make sure that they're hitting out. I would say my guy right here really is doing a good job of fully using his body through the motions as the choreography is given. So I really do like that. This was what I was saying. I love this add-on because it started with one person and then it bled out and then it went to every other person and then it went to everybody. So I thought that was a mad cool way to do an add-on because normally it just does an even peel out where you get your center. Then this would be your group 2, this would be your group 3, and this would be your group 4. So I think that was super cool and that's what made that look different. And I liked that. That was inspirational. Yeah, so that was cool. I like how they did this here. Let me take a look here. 1, 2, 3. I think there's somebody behind there. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, there has to be. So I don't know if they are supposed to kind of lean it out, you know, not really finish out the circle, having my guy move up to right here, maybe move him up here. I just feel like I think there's somebody that we're missing, but these two right here, because we have 2 of them infiltrated in the feature, that helps create symmetry. Now this part right here, broken down into your verse, it was a really nice way to get into the verse. So you have your operating group of 4 with your feature, and then we have, I think it's my guy in red ends up coming over here to do the second section with these guys. I'm trying to verify that, let me see. So he joins in, and I like that because the feature joins in over here, but he's not the feature over here. So that's cool for them. They're kind of vibing out. They're like, thank goodness. We're taking a break, especially my guy right here. He's probably tired. Anyway, But oh, okay, so I understand that because he's got to sing. Cool. So now everybody else is joined back in. So I like where you have the 4, and then you have your feature, and my feature comes over and joins with a group of 3, and then makes it a group of 4, and then from there they kind of pull together. These guys circle around. They all join together, and then you have another feature. So that's, I really like, out of everything, love the formation choices here. Super fun. Just a simple walkout, but look at the choices that were made. You have half of them going forward and then half going backwards, but they're like walking backwards when they're facing a different way. Love it. Opposition is great, but look, you still have one person that is not moving. That's what creates the symmetry. You always have to factor in the even number, and that's what sucks about even numbers is when you have to, when it comes to group choreo, that's the tricky part about it, you know. Yeah, now that part, let me see. So we have our feature join right here. Oh, okay. So what ended up happening here is what I've noticed is that my guy right here stopped doing the choreo about 2 counts before everybody else finished out. I don't know if that was intentional or what. Are we going to see him featured? Yes, that's why. So he stopped 2 counts before, join in. Now we have a group of 3 right here. And everybody else is still adding on. They're now still mirrored, and the reason why they're able to get it from the every other and then get it to a mirrored is because some of the modification that some of the guys had to do in order to get it to kind of switch off. So that was a really cool, intricate mirroring situation that we just saw. And I loved that. That was super cool. Now we have our group of 3. They're doing a great job of operating with 8 people. That peel out, the brrr, I feel like we've seen that. I saw that treasure bona bona, that exact peel out right there. I've seen it already, but that doesn't mean that it doesn't look cool. It looks cool. I'm just citing, I've seen that reference before. Yeah, it's hard to hit that kind of count. And now you see the camera moving right there? Yeah, it's just, it feels cut, you know, I feel like, yeah. And it also shows the fact that it's so minor, how consistent they are in doing it. So that's kudos and props to them. I know how K-pop idols train. They train rigorous hours and they train a lot to really articulate and get through every detail of their track. So I really am impressed by this, but it's this section right here where my guy in my jean and white, I can really tell he's not utilizing his full range of movement like some of the people surrounding him. I'm using context of others to help with that. If you notice that. He's keeping it more, he's approaching 45s versus 90s whenever he's dropping into hinges. He's only like kind of not, well, so they're about to say 45, he's doing a 25. So it's not even that aggressive, but it's still, he's doing it, but it's not quite as much as other people are exploring that groove. Yeah, I'm going to assume this is Mark here, right? Because I really like his vibe that he's brought here. It looks really, really cool. Okay. Finally, they're clear. Bless my internet. Yeah, but then also I've kind of stopped it here. This is unison. And my guy, unfortunately, his arm is not even close to what's going on here. It could be, is he singing here? That's just a really minor thing, and I just got lucky with it. It's so fast that you can't really tell that much, but if they want to refine the cleanliness of this type of routine, the range of the motion and the range of execution is something that has to be factored in, not just the content or move itself. And, okay, this happens on 1, this happens on 2. How are you going 1 to 2? Are you going 1, 2, 1, 2? You know, there's a way that you can execute these movements dynamically and with texture that's ingrained within the counts that helps with the kind of cleanliness in your groove. And that's why I'm mentioning that a lot. If they all had the same groove, then this would be a very different story. But because they're all, I can tell that each one has their own groove, that may operate as strengths for them when it comes to the type of choreography and concepts that they can explore, because all of them kind of can represent different concepts, which is really nice. Now, what's interesting from here is that they go into a butterfly and then they go into a loose leg. So it is a mix of afro and a house here, which I really like. Well, hold on. They didn't, hold on. No, it is. It's a, okay, so when I watch him do it, it just looks like he's shooting out and twisting of the foot. When I see him do it, he's doing a butterfly for Afro. Then they go into a loose legs, balls, chain, heel toe. And then they go and they do a tap, toe tap. Like that's, I mean, then from there, it switches over into the crossover in the back. So there's a lot of cross-cultural styles being ingrained and integrated here. A house pocket's different than an Afro pocket, but both can work because I'm a Piano is a mix of Bacardi and deep house music. So house and Afro can go hand in hand with some of the subgenres that we've been experiencing with some of these types of styles that have been ingrained in choreography. And so for here, that's why when you saw the Afro going into, like an Afro move going into a house move, it works because they're hitting parts of the music in the BPM. It just works, you know? So I think it's really fun. Yeah, so this move right here, this whole section is pretty clean. It's probably the cleanest section we've seen from them. That right there, if you just look, I like the, you know, this right here, so what makes it re-jam to me is like this kind of move here. I remember that Lady Bounce in season 2 recently used that in a diss battle with Jam Republic, but also this move right here and some of just the Afro influences, like I've already mentioned before, that we've seen Jam bring to the table choreographically this season. That's what makes me feel that this is along that vein of the type of choreographer that was on this track. That boom, check that, boom, check that. So I feel that right there, that was an obvious cut. So that's my one note that I would say about the dance practice is that a lot of groups don't cut. Do you know what I'm saying? They have like moving versions that are cuts, but then this is supposed to be a fixed point. For me, when I see fixed point, I want to see one take because that can really enhance the, it makes it more forgiving, like being honest. It makes it more forgiving when mistakes are made in a one take, but because this was cut, it's harder to justify the lack of cleanliness in some of the sections. Now, also, I know some of you are like, this is a dance practice. We probably were after rehearsal, this, that, and the other. I totally understand that. That's why we have the performance version and that's why you have the music video. But I think it's important for me to take note. There are some cleanliness issues here with some of the textures, and it's not the move. I want you to notice that. The moves aren't the problem. They're doing it, but it's the execution. It's the how of the integration of doing the move. How he's doing it is very different than how he's doing it, which is different than how he's doing it, which is different than how he's doing it. And whenever you're operating as a group, you have to be mindful. You really want everybody to be on the same page, right? And I feel like they are. And I feel like a lot of you, because I'm very wanting, I love discussions and I would love to talk with you guys on this because I'm trying to come at this as objectively as possible. I don't know any of these guys. I think I know Mark because I've seen him on some of my reels. That's pretty much it, and I know they've done some dance covers, but they're always wearing masks or hats, so I don't recognize really any of these guys. So I just feel that I don't want it to come across like I'm just trashing them. That's not the case at all. I think what they're doing is very impressive because they have to sing at the same time. Bless it. I just think that there's some refinement that can take place to really enhance this and make this that crisp clean, that really grungy, or really match the concept as effectively as the quality and expectation that they themselves probably wanted to establish with this particular group. So that's my big note is I personally wish there was not cuts in the fixed point, that it was just a one and done. But also this looks astronomically difficult on stamina, which I mean, I feel like that's why a lot of groups don't sing live as much anymore because of that exact reason. This is their breather, bleeding through. I can tell they're getting tired. At least with some of them. I know for him, I've noticed he's really not fully lengthening through his movement. I could tell with my guy right there, he's not quite as into physically able to do it. There's just really simple things like, look here, I feel like with the legs, some of them have it up, some of them have it down. So honestly, it kind of feels like they were, you know, they may not have wanted to do the dance practice and they were just told they had to. I don't know. I don't know the group. I don't know the vibes. I know the vibes of SM if that's who they're with. But for me, I feel like this feels like a dance practice, and maybe I kind of like that. I like the fact that the production of this is just a really good camera and they do simple cuts, but it's not a whole production like their performance take would be, or I haven't seen those, but I'm just saying, like, you're just seeing more run through kind of mistakes or the lack of clean. Like, this is not, I don't think this is the cleanest run that I think they could bring to this. But that's why I'm reacting to the dance practice and not to the performance video, because I want to see the group as the group, you know? And as they finish over, really nice that they chose to go about it with the odd, nope. This right here, I feel that boom, 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 that add-on right there was super nice. I love it. The energy, I think that's what we needed. It was super chill bridge, and I kind of felt like they may have been a little too chill on not fully lengthening and engaging the body even through then. That could have been a disconnecting moment if people were just watching the dance practice and there weren't other versions. But how he's bleeding over, I really like how everybody is reacting to what he's doing. That was a really good energy boost that needed to happen here for this part of the track. Come on, guys. You got it. Walking over. I like it with having one feature that's already gone in the add-on, and then my other one joining on, and then you have somebody in the center that's about to approach forward. I really like that choice. It's very, very easy to tell who is the feature there. That was totally fine. Him just doing the arms is fine because he was the feature. Everybody else really going for it. Pop off, guys. This part, I think that's why I like this part so much, is because it is so full. And it's near the end. I really wanted to see that. You see some of them are really going the full 90. Some are hitting it up with a 45. Some of them are actually bending over. So this would just be really minor. This is very minor. Some of them are turned out. That does create a different angle if you notice. For him, he's creating more of this kind of lunge, where somebody else is creating, his is a little bit more kind of stiff, and his is really super far. So it's just, if you really wanted them to be like super crisp and even, then you would take a look at how high you'd want to lift the leg, and where's your hip? Is it square to the direction that you're going, or is it facing front? Little details like that can make a difference in moves like that. But I love this. Doon, 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 doon. This is fast. It's just a lot of information, so polyrhythmic. And these transitions are really cool. Like, I like the body roll over to the straight line. Check the fast, go and check that. I like that. Then boom, check the fast, da da da, boom. So it's like really crisp getting to that next reset. Now here it appears that it's supposed to be every other, where half of them are supposed to be hinging lower and half are supposed to stay up. And yeah, and I think that, you know, some of them are really committing to that 90. I would say some of them are just kind of teetering more on the, like, some of them, probably because of height, maybe I would factor that in too. But I at least can tell that that's what they're going for. And then they're still going right there, boom, and then they go and they break down into more of a subtle groove. Then they're doing a network. So you have another kind of Afro influence here. It's a lot of times I would say, and I would interchange a camel walk with the network, but I think like that, I think that screams more network when I look at the context of the other moves that they have ingrained here. And then they're finishing up, kind of traveling around. We need to factor in the fact that some of them look so tired, they're not even lip syncing their part anymore. So that would be something that it could be, this was at the end of practice. That's what's bringing more context to why I'm trying to give more grace to this. Because with NCT, I know the caliber that they would normally bring just based on what I've heard and excerpts of what I've seen. Like I said, I've never done an analysis of a full video of them before. But I think it's important to know those things. These guys are human. This is a freaking hard dance to polyrhythmically do and sing at the same time. So I feel like for here, I can just really see the weight of the just being tired. I think they're tired when they had to film this, and that's why we're able to see this. Do I think this was a good run? I feel like, do I think that it could have been crisp and clean? Yes, because I'm so used to the saturation of the production quality of dance practices now. But I will say, I really do like the fact this just feels like, it does feel like a recording from rehearsal. And I do like that because if anything, it shows you that they are human, and it shows you this mess is tiring. It is. The fact is that you could tell he was confidently, he was hitting his chest like that was his part. But remember, I don't really know each person's individual parts. He wasn't mouthing anything. And I feel like we're near that tail end and they're like, guys, we're almost done. This is really brutal on them. I like that. Boom, check that. This right here was really nice. You also know how clean that ending was. That's how you know, because that ending doesn't require near as much energy. It is technical, where you have to engage from the diaphragm, boom, doo-doo. But you do have to just note, like, just this mess right here. I really wish that they, I don't know. I really liked it. I did. And I know a lot of what I pointed out were just mistakes and things that needed to be cleaner. I really do like the track. That's why I checked the song out, is because I really like the song. It sounds cool. I think here, I like the choreography. I just think these guys are so tired. I know that probably in other realms in which I would watch this, we would be able to see them more refined. But I also enjoy that my first taste of them is seeing them as human and not as these like overly crisp people either, you know, if that makes sense, because it helps me be able to look at this with more of a gracious eye, which I think is important. I mean, it is important to point out, okay, that network needed to be done this way, this afro move with this house step. I was still able to touch on stuff, so they were able to do it big enough, but just look at their that's like, it's just probably, look at him. It just really feels like they are exhausted, you know? And I'm glad that we have this to where I could take a look at it. And I think they did a freaking great job, considering the fact that, you know, they were able to give this out to their fans so they could, you know, so they would be able to interact with them in this way too. So all in all, I would say this is a great routine. I like it. I think it's very physically demanding and very high in stamina. And I think that I think the timing in which this was filmed probably could have contributed to some of the messiness that some of it may have provided. But that in no way should be a reflection of how I view them as an entire group. I don't believe that to be the case. I know I will be seeing way more of NCT 127 or NCT in general in the future, and I do look forward to reacting to them in that way. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope I was helpful in some way. To those of you who are fans of NCT, I would love to hear from you. I want to hear your thoughts, context, things of that nature, recommendations on what other tracks that they are noted for as a group, because I know that they are very heavy in dance. Some of them are, so I really want to take another look at kind of some other routines that they may bring to the table, just so I can have a better picture of the group as a whole, because I feel like from here, I really loved it. But I do feel like there was a lot of fatigue factoring in, which could have contributed to some of the lack of cleanliness in some of the sections. So thank you guys again for watching. If you want more K-pop, I've reacted to a couple K-pop tracks a week, but I also react to Street Woman Fighter, dance reality shows, and other concepts from all over the world. So if you like dance or want to understand dance in a different way, I hope that this channel is able to help in that way. Thank you guys again, and I will catch you on the flip side. Bye.